I can't tell you how many times I abandoned myself so that someone else wouldn't abandon me. I was so scared and ashamed to be who I fully was because I was conditioned in childhood to think that who I fully was not good enough, was bad, was undeserving, was selfish. And so I grew up and learned that in order for me to find love, I couldn't be fully myself. I had to abandon my boundaries. My needs made me too needy. And if I wanted to keep a partner, then I had to disown parts of myself. The problem with that is that this is who I am. These shadows, these parts of me that I think are unlovable, they're a part of who I am. I can't get away from them because they're in here. And so as much as I would try to wear a mask in the relationships and try to act like I had it all together, it would crumble within months because I would feel so dysregulated and so unsafe and so anxious all day that I had no choice but to explode. And then the anger that I was trying to hide would come out. The insecurities that I was trying to mask would come out. I could no longer avoid it. I would project all of my uncomfortable feelings onto my partners and friends because I just didn't want to say, I don't feel secure in myself. I would feel so dysregulated and anxious in relationships, and to the point where it was literally driving me insane. And I know so many of us have felt this and still feel this because we are still abandoning parts of ourselves because we think that these parts aren't lovable. But in reality, these parts of us need the love and compassion the most because these parts of us were formed from the abuse and neglect that we went through in childhood. So when you see yourself as a separate entity, when you can see your child, your younger self outside of you, going through the abuse that you went through, you will have so much more compassion because if you saw that same 5-year-old on the street being abused, being hit, being yelled at, being berated, going through the things that you went through, you wouldn't just stand there and say, oh, they deserve it. You would run up and you would protect that child and you would yell at those parents and you would do all these different things, right? But you don't do that for yourself. You continue to shame yourself. You continue to belittle yourself. You continue to bring yourself down because it's a conditioning. You have to break the pattern by saying, no, I'm not going to feel bad about this anger anymore because I have a reason to be angry. When I really sit and think about it, of course I have a reason to be angry. I am done feeling this shame for these terrible things that have happened to me. It's the people who did it that I'm carrying the shame for. Why do I feel ashamed of something that happened to me? I learned how to avoid my feelings because no one in my family talked about them. But that doesn't mean that I have to continue this pattern. I'm going to talk about them. And if it makes people uncomfortable, then maybe the discomfort is what we need to heal. We got to integrate these shadows and we got to have more compassion for where we've been. We are the little children that we cry for on this app. We are the little children that we weep for when we see this abuse on the